All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive paradigm shift that is actively reshaping the world right under our noses. We're going to look at how biology itself is rapidly becoming the world's most powerful computing platform. You probably think of computing as something that strictly happens inside your laptop or your phone, but the source material we're digging into today reveals something wild. Life itself is driven by code. And humanity? Well, we finally figured out how to write it.
Think about your computer for a second. Right now, it's executing millions of lines of code written in this basic language of ones and zeros. It's a binary digital code. Now, compare that simple binary to the infinitely more complex alphabet of life. We're talking about adenine, cytosine, thymine, and guanine, A, C, T, and G. And this isn't just a metaphor. These 4 letters form literally the most efficient, powerful code in the known universe. It runs every single living thing on this planet.
So here is the massive threshold we've just crossed, and really what this entire explainer hinges on. For the last 50 years, the whole technological boom in this space has been all about digital biology, meaning we were just trying to read DNA, sequence genomes, and basically just understand the software of life. But we aren't just discovering life anymore. We've started actively coding it. We aren't just the readers, we are officially the authors. After half a century of digital biology, we have completely transitioned into the era of synthetic biology. And this is an era that radically redefines our relationship with nature. We're no longer just sitting back observing the code that makes a plant grow or a cell function. We are actually learning to rewrite that code to do exactly what we need it to do. Act 1, the biological word processor.
The sheer speed of this evolution is just mind-blowing. If you remember back in the early 2000s, the Human Genome Project took over a decade and cost nearly $3 billion just to read the human genome one single time. It was like painstakingly transcribing this massive, ancient book entirely by hand. Fast forward to today, reading DNA is incredibly cheap and fast. But the real game changer is tools like CRISPR. CRISPR now allows us to actually write genetic code with absolutely astonishing speed.
So what actually is synthetic biology? Well, a good working definition is that it's a field that treats living cells less like mystical, untouchable entities and more like programmable microscopic machines. Think of DNA as just an instruction manual. By using cutting-edge tools like CRISPR-Cas9, scientists have essentially built a biological word processor. They're doing way more than just cutting and pasting genetic typos. They are literally typing out entirely new sequences that have never even existed in nature.
Scientists are now highlighting genetic code, hitting delete, and typing new words directly into the fabric of life. Living cells are basically just sitting there awaiting our instructions. And think about it. If you can program a cell to do exactly what you want, you are no longer limited by what biology naturally produces on its own.
Act 2. Programming the real world.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? It's solving problems that traditional manufacturing can't even touch. Take manufacturing, for example. Spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel. But spiders are notoriously cannibalistic, so you can't exactly farm them. The solution? Scientists took the DNA for spider silk and pasted it right into yeast. Now we're brewing spider silk in huge vats, exactly like you brew beer. Or look at the environment. We've got a massive ocean plastic crisis. The synthetic biology fix is supercharging naturally occurring enzymes, programming bacteria to literally eat PET plastics and excrete harmless byproducts. And in medicine, we're taking on complex cancers by reprogramming our very own human immune cells.
Our source specifically flags that medical application, known as CAR T cell therapy, as the absolute pinnacle of this programming revolution. We aren't just creating external medicines in a lab anymore. We are turning the human body itself into a programmable pharmacy. We are effectively deploying biological guided missiles inside the body to hunt down disease.
The process here is just so elegant. In step 1, doctors extract a patient's own immune cells. Step 2, they genetically reprogram those cells in a lab so they can perfectly recognize the highly specific barcode of that patient's cancer. Step 3, they multiply these newly programmed cells by the millions. And finally, step 4, they infuse them right back into the body. Extract, reprogram, multiply, deploy. It is targeted, it's brilliant, and it is entirely built on writing biological code.
Act 3. The Biohacker Dilemma.
But of course, every powerful technology casts a long shadow. We have to take a step back and ask ourselves, what actually happens when biology becomes as accessible as downloading a piece of software? Today, anyone can order synthetic DNA strands right in the mail. The cost of synthesizing DNA has just plummeted. Now, on one hand, that's absolutely fantastic for university researchers and open source science, but on the other hand, it radically lowers the barrier to entry for rogue actors.
Just think back to the early days of the digital world. When software became cheap and accessible, we suddenly had malware, viruses, and hackers who could crash a whole power grid. The dual-use nature of cheap biological code introduces a very similar biological threat. A perfectly benign genetic sequence that was designed to cure a disease could, theoretically, be tweaked by someone into a highly contagious pathogen.
It's a pretty chilling reality. If coding life becomes as easy as coding a smartphone app, the global risk is unprecedented. A crisis engineered by a hacker in the biological age cannot be stopped with a simple software antivirus patch downloaded from the cloud. We are gaining the power of gods, but as the text points out, we are still very much operating with deeply human flaws.
Conclusion: writing our own future.
This quote from the source material absolutely gave me chills because it captures the true enormous gravity of this paradigm shift. For 4 billion years, life on Earth was shaped by the blind, random forces of natural selection. Tomorrow, it will be shaped by human intent. Humanity has literally taken the keyboard of evolution. The code of life is right at our fingertips.
The blank page is officially ours. We've got this unprecedented opportunity to cure diseases, save the environment, and completely revolutionize manufacturing. But it comes alongside an immense, sobering responsibility to protect ourselves from the misuse of all this power. We have mastered the biological word processor. The only question left now is, what are we going to write next? I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on today. If you could program just one biological feature into the human body, what would it be? Think about the possibilities for a second. I really hope this explainer has helped you grasp just how transformative synthetic biology is, and maybe sparked your curiosity to learn even more about the code of life. Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible topic.